Do you know what I hate the most? Sealed Pokemon product. That's right. I don't like it. I hate when it sits back in this shelf because if I'm not opening it, I'm not listing it on TCG Player, and I'm not making any money. I'm not an investor. I don't hold on to these things for years. I open them, I list them, I sell them, and I repeat. So today we are going to be opening this Zapdos EX Collection. Now, I think there's some hits in there. Something about it. There's hits. There's gonna be. Now, I know that this is not my favorite. It's never been my favorite legendary bird. Articuno was my favorite. And I think it's because he was blue. I mean, I have no other reasoning for that. But I picked this up for $19.49 at my local game shop. It used to be called the Gaming Goat, but someone else bought them and rebranded it to Night and Day Games. They're also trying to get some Pokemon tournaments going. It's just a little slow for them. They have to shake off the bad practices from, the last owner. So we do have a couple promo cards here. Actually, one promo card, one holo card, if I remember it right. So let's get rid of all this packaging. It's one thing I don't like about Pokemon too. There's just a lot of plastic. So let's get this out of the way. We have our Zapdos EX. I haven't had one of these jumbo cards in a while. This one's really nice. And I know it's wishful thinking, but it would be really cool if they had one of each bird. And then I could put it in some sort of display case and put it behind me. But speaking of display cases, so something I've been trying to do, and I made this PSA. I forgot this moved for a second. So I made this right here, and it is a foam board that I cut out exactly to place PSA rated cards in, or graded cards, inside. From far away, it looks pretty professional. But when you zoom up, and I'm not going to do that right now because I don't feel like getting up, but when you zoom in, the cuts aren't very clean. But with the cards in from a distance, it's not so bad. So imagine having, three of these, as far as the three different legendary birds, in a display case on the wall. I think that'd be pretty cool. Same thing with the original 3 starter Pokemon, as far as, Charmander, Bulbasaur, and Squirtle. I think that line with just 3 across in a picture frame on the wall. And this actually cost me, I keep using the wrong hand. This actually cost me, it was a foam board. So the foam board was $2, and I cut it out with an X-Acto knife. That was about $1. And the frame was $10. So if you go look on Amazon, those framed PSA display cases are very expensive. And most of it, I get it, it's because of shipping. It costs quite a bit to ship a picture frame. But this is a cheap alternative, and it just took me maybe about an hour to make. So if you're interested, I'll make a video on how I did it. I might do it on a smaller scale, as far as maybe one card goes in it. And that way you can see the process and do it yourself, because spending $100 for a PSA display case or any display case is just too much money. So I'm going to put this jumbo card away. I have them, all my jumbo cards are set to sell at $2. Now it's going to take a while before they're actually selling, because a lot of these are being sold for 20 cents, 30 cents, and it's just not worth my time selling for that cheap, because the shipping is going to cost quite a bit more. Then we have our Electabuzz, which is a nice pairing for Zapdos, both, lightning Pokemon. And this looks like it has that Cosmic or Cosmos foiling. Not the greatest, because there's nothing going on here, and you can barely see it. Yeah, you can barely see that. So I'm not a fan of how this one turned out. The Zapdos EX, much better with that. I don't remember the term. We'll say snowflake. With that snowflake looking hollow. But there's nothing shining in his eyes. That disappoints me. I really like seeing when they put the hollow features on the eyes. And for those people that need a code card, going forward, I'm thinking about just keeping those for myself. I know I said it before in other videos because there's a lot of decks that I want to make for Pokemon, and it's a lot easier for me to play on the app rather than in the store. And as time goes on, I'm making these videos, I have less time to play, which means less cards that I earn. Abra, Diglett, Drowsy, Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, Slowbro. Let's see a Venusaur in the end to complete that. And we have a Gyarados. Second pack. But I'm not worried. This has the hits. There's going to be a hit in here. Alt art of some sort. And I just threw an empty pack on my sleeping dog by accident. It's just raining Pokemon on her. Oddish, Mankey, Henry Sticker, Daisy's Help, Gengar. We do have a foil energy. So far, all the energies have instantly sold. I've been selling for 99 cents. People love them. You might think, oh, it's 99 cents. That's not great, but it all adds up. As far as the reverse holos are doing very well for me. A lot of them selling from 50 cents to $1. Again, adds up. If that's $1, let's say that's 50 cents. Another 50 cents is $2 right there. Some of these are hit or miss. Some people like the just regular rare foils. But we'll say another 50 cents. So we got $2.50 there. Now, per pack, it was about $5. So I'm trying to get my money back. And everything else, I just put for $0.25. Some of them sell. Things like Energy Sticker will probably sell because it's a trainer card. And someone's making a deck out of that. Someone out there, you might think, I don't need that card. That card's not great. But someone out there is experimenting, whether it's for fun or to try to make a deck that will last the new meta. Now, something that I'm trying to figure out is where are the people that just play for fun, build decks because, based around Geodude, just because that's their favorite. Everyone I've met so far and I've talked to, they're either collecting sealed Pokemon product, they're collecting full sets, or they're just playing the meta decks, and no one's that I know is playing around. So I'm curious to find out if you make decks and you play just for fun in your house with your favorite Pokemon, whether they're good decks or not. I know I'm looking to build a deck around Vulpix and Ninetales just because, that's her favorite. One of her favorite Pokemon. Same with the evolutions. I don't see it on the top deck list, but I'm still going to make it eventually. So got Dragonair, Rattata, and Electrode for the rare. One last pack, not losing hope. It's in there. It is in there. I'm going to pull an alt art something. Let's see. Charmander, Sparrow, Bellsprout, Magikarp, Magneton, Nidoqueen, Victory Bell, Flareon, and I called it. I knew there was going to be something hidden there. But before we get to that, let's just put him to the side. Let's get this code card out of the way. Just a regular Psychic Energy. Got Raichu and Flareon. So something like this. So we got a reverse holo Flareon. It is a rare. This could probably go for a little over $1. But again, I need to make a deck based around evolutions and everything. So I might hold on to this just to throw in a deck just for fun, just so we can play around the house, because I'm going to make another video on this, but getting people to play Pokemon at an entry level, I don't mean kids, I meant adults, whether it's your girlfriend or boyfriend or just friend, just anyone, it's really hard to get them into the game because you don't want to hand them one of those meta decks, playing Chien-Pao or something like that, or Lost Zone, and be like, here you go, welcome. They're going to look at you and be like, well, I don't even like these Pokemon. And so they're going to be like, well, is there a deck? My favorite is, I don't know, Mimikyu or Cubone. And then what are they going to do? There's no sealed decks, or there's not enough starter decks based around different Pokemon out there. I know it's hard because there's so many, but for example, let me grab this. Need to move stuff around. Okay. Have some code cards while we're at it. I haven't flashed those yet. So, for example, this is how I introduced her to Pokemon. And so she was like, okay, I like him, like in a rock, kind of. It's a dog. That's what she was like. He's a dog. I'll play him. But it's a very entry-level deck. They do a good job of mimicking the play styles. They're almost the same, just a slight bit different, so you have a little variety. But this got boring after the second match. Once she learned how to play, once I started the second game, it was kind of like, okay, well, that's, I'm not playing with a Pokemon I like. So then I was like, okay, what do you like? She said Cubone. And she said, Ghastly Haunter, Gengar, Mimikyu, and then the Evolutions. So I went online, and she's not going to play in tournaments. I mean, yet maybe she might. But I went online. I tried to look for starter decks to get her excited for playing Pokemon, and I couldn't find any. I went online, and there were all these random Pokemon. Again, not random to everyone, but it's really hard to get someone in. So that's why I'm trying to hold on to some of these cards as far as the evolutions, commons, uncommons. Make a deck. That way, yeah, she may not be winning, worlds or even the local tournaments, but when she puts down a basic Pokemon on her bench and it's an Eevee or a Vulpix, and she evolves it into Sylveon, which I think is I'm pretty sure that's her favorite. Even if she's not winning on turn 1 or turn 2, it makes the game more fun. And I think that's something that's really missing from Pokemon, is their starter decks, and getting people into the game is not great unless you have someone that can build decks for you and experiment. But I can't go and just buy one of those off the shelf. And I was looking through the catalog of reasonably priced starter decks with Pokemon that she is interested in, and I was failing. But I planned a whole video on that topic, and I'm getting off track. So let's grab our Tangela. So, I never really knew, or I still don't know what Tangela is. So I know there's a tangle of some sort and some eyes in some darkness. Have they ever explained anywhere what this Pokemon is? I mean, he's wearing shoes, but tactful tangling. If you played Erica's invitation from your hand during this turn, this attack does 60 more damage. That sounds fun. Looking at, if I remember Erica's invitation, what you're doing is you're looking at their hand and then getting a Pokemon and throwing it out in their active zone. So you'd play that, and then Tangle would be out, and you just attack it for a total of, what is that, 70? It's not great. Like, the damage output's not great, but the idea of it is fun. It's just like, all right, I want to pull that out. And it could be, if they have a really basic Pokemon out there for 70 or below, it could be an instant prize card. And that's what I like. Like, there's so many cards like this that are just underplayed because everyone's looking for, the next big deck, and everyone's trying to, how do I say it? I shouldn't say everyone. Everyone's just that's a broad term. I really shouldn't say that. That's like saying every guy's like this or every girl's like that. But the people that I encounter in my life are usually throwing these cards into a binder, or I take that back. Some are throwing them in the binder for collection, but what I'm getting at is a lot of people look at this and be like, yeah, well, I mean, it could, I see the point of it, but I mean, that's not going to win me in a local tournament. So I'm not going to play it and just put it down. And that's very disappointing. So I'm thinking about actually making some decks based around this set 151, bring back some nostalgia for some people, and it limits me to these skills. This could be a very fun thing to play. Just like I like the Jinx. So the Jinx is She can knock out a Pokemon that's sleeping. And I thought, well, that's pretty fun. Put things to sleep. Swap your Pokemon, hit them real quick, knock them out no matter what it is. It's just slow and not as fast paced. It won't work at the tournament level, but it's fun. And I like having fun. Before I always get in my mind about, hey, I'm going to, in my mind about, I want to build a deck. And then it turns into, I'm doing this for fun and there's a theme. And then halfway through, I'm like, this theme's not going to win me a competition. I'm not going to get, promo cards. I'm not going to win. Everyone's going to, hate on me because my deck can't work. And then I start shifting it and looking at the meta and looking at other people's decks, and the fun just goes poof. And I don't like that. So I know that's an internal thing. That's a me thing. I'm sure there's other people that feel that way, but I'm trying to see how to combat that. And I don't know. I really don't know. Now, off the top of my head, I think of something I could do is go to Night and Day Games or any other game store and see if I can host some events, more of a restricted Pokemon event. So I know there's already blocks for Pokemon of, what's still standard and what's not, but I mean very restricted. Go in and maybe either have a draft where people are forced to use certain Pokemon. I know that's going to be a little harder just because it depends how many packs you get, and it depends on how you want to use the energy and the card size or the deck sizes. Ideally, I'd want to be like, all right, everyone use cards in Pokemon 151, but then not everyone has a deck ready to go for that. So it's one of those hard things to find people that will be interested. I might be able to swing it. I don't know. But it's just a thought, just some random thoughts that I have. But with all that being said, I've rambled enough. We're reaching the end of the video, and I just want to say a couple things. First, thanks to my 144 subscribers. You're all great, especially the ones that interact and leave me comments. And the other thing is, I knew there was going to be an alt art inside this Zapdos box. I just knew it. And I'll catch everyone next time.